The 2026 World Cup has a terrifying Argentina versus England problem.
The save, but the follow-up is in! That was well done. Into Jude Bellingham. Bellingham with the equaliser!
Because one of these teams probably shouldn't be this dangerous. Neither Argentina nor England has looked like the tournament's best team.
Two teams on this side who are scrapping every single game for their lives and getting through.
Both have survived extra time. Both have been criticised. Both have relied on moments of pure individual brilliance instead of complete performances. And yet, here they are, just one game away from the World Cup final. But that's exactly what makes this semi-final so frightening.
England-Argentina, they'll meet in the semi-final, both two very tired teams. But, as you know, the emotion in that game will take a different level, I think.
On one side, Lionel Messi is chasing what could be the final masterpiece of the greatest international career football has ever seen.
In it comes to Lionel Messi. His control is brilliant. His finish is even better. It's swept in! And of course it's Lionel Messi! Lionel Messi!
On the other, Jude Bellingham is beginning to look like the player ready to inherit the throne.
Rodgers lets fly. It's 2-1 England. Bellingham's there once again. It's Harry Kane and Bellingham again. 2 in 2 minutes for England.
I think that we've got the capability of actually going toe-to-toe with them, but they have got Messi, just like we've got Bellingham.
History, revenge, pressure. Two nations carrying decades of baggage into one stadium. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this isn't just Argentina versus England. It's the biggest problem the 2026 World Cup could have created. Neither of these teams should feel comfortable walking into this game, and honestly, that's what makes it dangerous. England needed extra time just to get past Norway, and for long stretches of that match, they didn't look like a team heading to a semi-final. They fell behind first.
Kane still not back on his feet, and it's a goal for Norway!
They struggled to keep the ball for large chunks of the second half, and Norway's midfield had them on the back foot more than once. It took Jude Bellingham's second goal of the night, 3 minutes into extra time, to finally drag England across the line.
Today, like we played against, obviously, Norway today, and we were struggling for, the second half. We were the second best team in the game.
Yep.
But Jude just manages to find the way to get the ball and put it in the back of the net.
Thomas Tuchel didn't sugarcoat it afterward either. He called his own team lucky. He said they were sloppy. He wasn't happy with the performance, even though the result put them through.
The commitment is there, but we made life very, very difficult for us in the way we played, how we played. Sloppy, a lot of technical mistakes, not fast enough, not repetitive enough. We were lucky today.
Argentina's story reads almost the same way. Extra time again, this time against Switzerland. And even after Switzerland went down to 10 men, Argentina still couldn't close the game out. They needed a late strike from Julian Alvarez just to settle it.
Julian Alvarez!
For most of that match, Messi barely touched the ball in dangerous areas.
But you have to take your hat off to Argentina. They find a way. Messi was quiet in this game, got his assist in the first half. They then sat back for the rest of the game and allowed Switzerland to play football. And then Julian Alvarez, who hadn't turned up for the whole competition, eventually steps up with a world-class goal.
Pundits watching the game called Argentina's build-up sterile, just side-to-side passing with nothing sharp enough to break Switzerland down. Outside of a couple moments of individual brilliance, there was nothing threatening coming from this Argentina side going forward.
No, they're chaotic. And but they have a little sprinkling of magic. We didn't really see the Messi magic tonight, but we've seen Julian Alvarez with that goal, those moments that change games for them. And it's been moments for them, particularly in the knockout stages, rather than a 90 minutes or 120 of control. We haven't seen that.
And here's something both sets of fans have noticed. Whether they want to admit it or not, both teams have had contested calls go their way in the knockout rounds. Argentina benefited from a second yellow card decision that plenty of neutral pundits question.
There is a clear simulation. Final decision, yellow card number 7.
Thank God we had VAR. Imagine you can play on and the Argentinian player will get his second yellow card.
maybe the Argentinian teams get out.
England had their own moment of controversy with a goal that Norway insisted came off a hanging cable above the pitch.
It could be a bird, it could be the spider cam wire, whatever it is. Play has to stop. And it's a drop ball, is that what you're saying? Drop ball between, and then that's it, and you play again. And clearly we can all see that, even if it was minimal, clearly the wire just changed the trajectory of the ball. Absolutely, it should have stopped there.
Neither result is being handed back, but neither team can fully shake the noise around how they got here either. Now, stack all of that fatigue on top of the controversy. Both teams have played back-to-back extra-time matches in tournament heat, which means both squads are running on fumes heading into this semi-final. Players who've logged 120 minutes twice in a row don't recover fully in a few days, no matter how good the medical staff is. This semi-final might not come down to tactics or star power at all. It might come down to something as simple as which set of legs gives out first. This isn't just another semi-final matchup. It's a rematch of a rivalry that's been sitting dormant for over 2 decades. And rivalries like this one don't need a fresh reason to matter. The tension between these two countries didn't start on the football pitch. It goes back to the Falklands War in 1982, a conflict that still shapes how both nations talk about each other outside the sport. Then football gave that tension a stage. In 1986, Diego Maradona scored 2 goals against England in the same match that summed up his entire career.
Diego Maradona picked the ball up in midfield and, with 11 touches in 11 seconds, cemented his status as one of the game's all-time greats.
Maradona with Argentina were the best team. He was by far the greatest player in the tournament. He was the world's best player, and he knocked us out.
One was the hand of God, a goal he punched in with his fist and got away with.
He was a rascal in one situation with a handball. He said it was the hand of God. I said it was the hand of a rascal. And I'm right.
The other, just minutes later, is still called the goal of the century, a run past half of England's team that nobody has matched since.
He was a genius, and his second goal was the John Barnes goal of Brazil. 4 people and dummied Shilton and stuck it in the net.
Then, in 1998, David Beckham got sent off against Argentina for a kick that cost England the game and turned him into the most hated man in English football for years.
With the sending off, I think what led after for the next few years, I think for me personally, that was the most difficult time for me in my career.
He spent 4 years rebuilding that reputation, and when England finally played Argentina again in 2002, Beckham scored the winning penalty.
It was one of those moments also that maybe the England fans, the British public maybe forgave me.
That moment became his redemption story, and it's still one of the most talked about games in England's World Cup history. Here's the strange part. Almost nobody playing in this semi-final was even alive for 1986, and most of these players were toddlers at best during the 2002 rematch. Bellingham wasn't born yet, but none of that matters, because the weight of this rivalry doesn't come from the players, it comes from the two nations watching them. And that history gets loaded onto this game, whether the current generation asked for it or not. That's exactly why neutral fans and pundits have started calling this matchup a dream semi-final. Some even saying it feels like a final in disguise. Because whoever wins this doesn't just book a spot in the World Cup final, they get to write the next chapter in one of football's most loaded rivalries. One that's been waiting 24 years for a new moment to talk about. Strip away all of that history and this game still comes down to a tactical problem neither manager has actually fixed. Argentina's biggest issue sits out wide, where they just don't have the pace to stretch defenses anymore. The players surrounding Messi are the same core that won it all 4 years ago. but they've aged. And that support cast isn't tracking back on defense or making runs forward the way they used to.
The aging legs of Argentina are getting slower as this game. Even Messi looked old in this game.
Everybody looked old in this game.
Everybody looked old, and nobody really gets a pass.
Argentina isn't controlling matches right now. They're waiting for moments, hoping one flash of something special shows up before the final whistle. Messi's whole pattern explains why. He doesn't cover ground like he once did, and he's not trying to.
He's older. He's older. You can see he's slower, but he's way more intelligent. He understands exactly when I need to use my energy and when I need to reserve my energy.
He walks for long stretches, saves what he's got left, and then, out of nowhere, he produces the one pass or shot that flips a game on its head. That's been his approach for years, but age has turned it up. There's less running now and even more waiting, which means Argentina needs the rest of the team to hold things together until he decides to strike. England's problem looks different, but it's just as real. Jude Bellingham has been asked to do almost everything: scoring the goals, driving the attack, and carrying the emotional weight of the whole tournament on his back. Harry Kane keeps dropping deeper to open up space for him to run into, and that trick has worked so far. But outside of those two, England's had to lean on moments from the bench.
You have Jude, you have Kane. If it's not Kane, it's Jude. They have been doing amazing stuff. But the other ones, they have been showing fighting spirit.
Jed Spence brought real pace down the right against Norway, and Bukayo Saka came on and looked sharp too. Still, nobody's provided a consistent second threat the way Bellingham has, which means defenses can still focus most of their attention on stopping one main man. That leaves Thomas Tuchel with a real decision to make: press high against Argentina and risk exposing a back line that's already worn down from extra time against Norway, or sit deep and dare Argentina to break them down, knowing this Argentina side thrives on punishing exactly that kind of mistake. There's no easy version of this for Tuchel. Lionel Scaloni is stuck with his own version of that same problem. Does he keep trusting the core that won the World Cup last time, even though that group looks a step slower right now? Or does he throw in fresher legs? Someone like Thiago Almada, just to add some unpredictability Argentina hasn't shown much of all tournament.
They're going to have to change some things. I mean, they're through to the semifinals against England, but if they want to win this World Cup, I think big changes need to be made. I think they need to use some fresher legs in there as well.
Both decisions carry risk, and Scaloni doesn't have much time left to make the call. What this semi-final really comes down to is two teams both trying to hide what they're missing long enough for one moment of magic to settle it. This might be one of Messi's last real shots at reaching another World Cup final, and everybody watching knows it. Bellingham, on the other side, is trying to build the case right here in Atlanta that he's the next global face of this sport. Whatever happens on July 15th decides more than who advances. It decides which era gets to write the next signature moment in this rivalry: Argentina's aging golden generation or England's rising one. Two imperfect teams, one fixture loaded with history, neither of them can escape, and a result that follows both of these players for the rest of their careers, whichever way it goes.